How good is your history knowledge? Test yourself with this 40-question quiz and see how many you can get right. Stay until the end and comment your score to challenge others. Ready? Let's begin. Who is credited with inventing the first practical telephone? Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, or Nikola Tesla? Alexander Graham Bell. Did you know Alexander Graham Bell was granted the first patent for the telephone in 1876? Which invention is Thomas Edison most famous for? The light bulb, the telephone, or the radio? The light bulb. Did you know Thomas Edison is often credited with inventing the practical incandescent light bulb, revolutionizing the way people lit their homes? Who is considered the father of modern computing? Charles Babbage, Alan Turing, or Bill Gates? Alan Turing. Did you know Alan Turing is often considered the father of modern computing for his work on breaking codes and laying the foundations of computer science? What company did Steve Jobs co-found? Microsoft, Apple, or Google? Apple. Did you know Steve Jobs co-founded Apple Incorporated in 1976, and it later became one of the most successful tech companies in the world? What was the first electronic computer called? ENIAC, Apple I, or IBM 360? ENIAC. Did you know ENIAC, developed in the 1940s, was one of the first fully electronic digital computers? Who invented the World Wide Web? Tim Berners-Lee, Vint Cerf, or Al Gore? Tim Berners-Lee. Did you know Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1989 while working at CERN, revolutionizing communication and information sharing? What was the first video game ever created? Pong, Tetris, or Space War? Space War. Did you know Space War, created in 1962 by Steve Russell, is considered one of the first video games ever developed? Who invented the first practical steam engine? James Watt, George Stephenson, or Thomas Newcomen? James Watt. Did you know James Watt's improvements to the steam engine in the 1770s helped spark the Industrial Revolution? What was the name of the first artificial satellite? Sputnik 1, Apollo 11, or Voyager 1? Sputnik 1. Did you know Sputnik 1, launched by the Soviet Union in 1957, was the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth? What was the first successful human-made spacecraft to reach the Moon? Apollo 11, Soyuz 1, or Luna 2? Apollo 11. Did you know Apollo 11, launched in 1969, successfully landed humans on the Moon for the first time? Who developed the first theory of electromagnetism? Michael Faraday, Nikola Tesla, or James Clerk Maxwell? James Clerk Maxwell. Did you know James Clerk Maxwell's equations laid the foundation for modern electromagnetic theory in the 19th century? What invention did Johannes Gutenberg create? The printing press, the microscope, or the steam engine? The printing press. Did you know Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press around 1440, revolutionizing communication and the spread of knowledge? Who was the first person to use the term computer bug to describe a problem with a computer? Grace Hopper, Charles Babbage, or Alan Turing? Grace Hopper. Did you know Grace Hopper is often credited with coining the term computer bug after finding an actual moth inside a computer in 1947? Who developed the first commercial airplane? The Wright brothers, Howard Hughes, or Charles Lindbergh? The Wright brothers. Did you know the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, made the first successful powered flight in 1903, leading to the development of commercial aviation? Who developed the first commercial airplane? The Wright brothers, Howard Hughes, or Charles Lindbergh? MS-DOS. Did you know MS-DOS was released in 1981 by Microsoft and became the first widely used operating system for personal computers? Who invented the first successful airplane? Orville and Wilbur Wright, Samuel Morse, or Nikola Tesla? Orville and Wilbur Wright. Did you know Orville and Wilbur Wright made the first powered, controlled flight in 1903, revolutionizing transportation? What invention made it possible to transmit signals over long distances, revolutionizing communication? The telegraph, the radio, or the telephone? The telegraph. Did you know the telegraph, developed by Samuel Morse in the 1830s, was the first technology capable of transmitting messages over long distances? Who is credited with the invention of the first practical light bulb? Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, or Michael Faraday? Thomas Edison. Did you know Thomas Edison is credited with inventing the practical incandescent light bulb, which was first demonstrated in 1879? Which company created the first successful home video game console? Atari, Nintendo, or Sega? Atari. Did you know Atari released the first successful home video game console, the Atari 2600, in 1977? What did the invention of the Internet primarily revolutionize? Communication and information sharing, transportation, or education systems? Communication and information sharing. Did you know the invention of the Internet has revolutionized communication, allowing people to connect and share information instantly across the globe? What device did Nikola Tesla invent that helped pave the way for wireless communication? The radio, the Tesla coil, or the light bulb? The Tesla coil. Did you know Nikola Tesla's invention of the Tesla coil in 1891 helped advance wireless communication technology? What did the creation of the first personal computer change about daily life? Made computing more accessible to the general public, increased transportation efficiency, or improved communication by telephone? Made computing more accessible to the general public. Did you know the creation of personal computers in the 1970s made it possible for people to access computing power in their homes and workplaces? Who invented the first successful steam engine? James Watt, Thomas Newcomen, or George Stephenson? James Watt. Did you know James Watt's improvements to the steam engine in the 18th century helped fuel the Industrial Revolution? Who is credited with developing the first practical electric motor? Michael Faraday, Thomas Edison, or Nikola Tesla? Michael Faraday. Did you know Michael Faraday developed the first practical electric motor in 1821, which was a key step toward modern electromagnetism? What invention helped to spread literacy and knowledge in Europe during the Renaissance? The printing press, the microscope, or the telephone? The printing press. Did you know? The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg in the 15th century, made books cheaper and more accessible, spreading knowledge and literacy. Who invented the first successful airplane? Orville and Wilbur Wright, Samuel Morse, or Nikola Tesla? Orville and Wilbur Wright. Did you know? Orville and Wilbur Wright made the first successful powered flight in 1903, laying the foundation for modern aviation. What was the first practical application of the radio? Broadcasting news and entertainment, sending Morse code messages, or wireless communication between ships? Sending Morse code messages. Did you know? The first practical use of radio was for transmitting Morse code messages over long distances, especially at sea. What was the purpose of the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1? To gather data on Earth's atmosphere, to establish a communications link, or to demonstrate Soviet technological superiority? To demonstrate Soviet technological superiority. Did you know? Sputnik 1, launched in 1957, was the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth, marking the beginning of the space race. Who was the first person to step on the moon? Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, or Michael Collins? Neil Armstrong. Did you know? Neil Armstrong became the first person to walk on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. What invention did Leonardo da Vinci conceptualize that was ahead of its time? Helicopter, submarine, or computer? Helicopter. Did you know? Leonardo da Vinci designed a model for a helicopter in the 15th century, long before the technology existed. What was the first mobile phone that could send text messages? Nokia 6110, Motorola StarTAC, or Ericsson GH688? Nokia 6110. Did you know? The Nokia 6110, released in 1997, was the first mobile phone that allowed users to send SMS text messages. What did the invention of the printing press in the 15th century allow? Mass production of books, digital communication, or advanced medical treatments? Mass production of books. Did you know? The printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg, made books more accessible and affordable, significantly increasing literacy rates. What was the first operating system created for personal computers? MS-DOS, Windows, or Apple OS? MS-DOS. Did you know? MS-DOS, released in 1981 by Microsoft, was the first widely used operating system for personal computers. Who was responsible for inventing the first modern electric battery? Alessandro Volta, Nikola Tesla, or Thomas Edison? Alessandro Volta. Did you know? Alessandro Volta invented the first modern electric battery in 1800, which was a breakthrough in the study of electricity. What was the major breakthrough in communication introduced by the telegraph? Long-distance messaging, wireless communication, or telephone calls? Long-distance messaging. Did you know? The telegraph, invented by Samuel Morse in the 1830s, allowed long-distance communication by transmitting coded messages over wires. Who is known for developing the first practical electric motor? Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, or Michael Faraday? Michael Faraday. Did you know? Michael Faraday developed the first practical electric motor in 1821, which helped lay the groundwork for later electrical inventions. What was the first consumer product to use RFID technology? Electronic payment cards, contactless tickets, or smart grocery store carts? Electronic payment cards. Did you know? RFID, radio frequency identification, technology was first used in consumer products like electronic payment cards to enable easy transactions. What was the first computer virus called? Creeper, Trojan horse, or Melissa? Creeper. Did you know the Creeper virus, created in the early 1970s, was the first computer virus designed to infect mainframe computers? What was the name of the first fully functional spacecraft to land on Mars? Viking 1, Curiosity rover, or Opportunity rover? Viking 1. Did you know Viking 1, launched by NASA in 1975, was the first spacecraft to land on Mars and send back images of the surface? What was the significant technological breakthrough of the Internet? A global communication network, the first computer, or voice recognition? A global communication network. Did you know the Internet is a global network that connects computers, allowing instant communication and access to information worldwide? Thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.